Zombie apocalypse.
How's it going, everybody? This is Taba Drabo. Hope you're all having another great day, and welcome back to another video. So I've already talked a lot about my college experience. I talked about some of my favorite memories there while I was in college. I've also talked a lot about some of my favorite moments as well, some of my favorite things that I got to do there. And, it's already been a month since I finished college, and, there's just so many things that I really missed about going to Kean University and Union County College overall. But, there are a lot of classes and teachers that I also took as well to go along with all the students that I met that I really enjoyed being a part of. And to be honest with you, with the exception of really just one class that I took, I enjoyed every single person that I met there, along with every single class and professor that I took there, because every single one of them, they brought really special meaning during my time in college, and it's just hard to pick out some of my favorites. So for this video today, I'm just going to be talking about some of my favorite classes that I took while I was at Kean University and at Union County College, and also some of my favorite professors that I took there, and both of them are going to be in top 5 order. So these are my 5 favorites for each of these categories altogether. This is just for anybody that plans on attending Union County College and or Kean University in the future. Some of these classes might be a little bit of intriguing to you, or some of them you might want to learn a little more about. So some of these classes you might be interested in taking after I tell you a little bit about them, as well as some of the professors that I'm going to tell you about here. But these are all people and classes that I really enjoyed getting to take and enjoy being a part of, and every one of these professors that I'm about to tell you about really played a huge role during my 4.5 years in college and making my experience very enjoyable and helping me get here at this point. So these are just some of the favorites that I want to share with you today. So I'm going to start out with some of my favorite classes. Now, really, there was only one class that I took that I really didn't enjoy, and that was the one class where I really didn't have a grade of an A or B of, and I only barely even got a C+ in that one. But I really enjoyed all the other classes that I took there, and these are just some of my favorites that I was able to take there, and some that you might want to take in the future if you are in UCC or at Kean University. My 5th favorite class that I took was Deaf in Perspective. Now, this was a very interesting course that I took during my final semester at Kean University, because this one focuses a lot about deaf. This is something about learning more about why we die, the biology behind it, and some of the mental and emotional effects that we go through behind it. It's one of the more interesting classes there was at Kean University while I was there, because there aren't many universities that I know of that really talk a lot about deaf in class, and the fact that Kean University had a class in deaf, I felt like that side that I needed to take it, just or learn a little something about it. And in fact, I really needed it as an elective for my final semester, so I was very happy that I got to take that class, and it was one of my favorite classes there, because I got to be more open about some of my experiences, talk a little bit about some of the things that I know about deaf with some of the other classmates, and just have a lot of open discussion in general. And I really learned a lot about deaf as well, because we learned a lot more about why we don't live forever, and that was a class that I really enjoyed, and I'm very happy that I got to take that class during my final semester. My 4th favorite class was Leisure and Sports Recreation. Now, these are actually 2 separate classes. One of them I took in the fall of 2019, and the other during my last semester at Kean University. Both of them were very good classes. I got to learn a little bit about sports recreation along with event management, and I even learned a little bit about leisure activities as well. Some of the popular leisure stuff like video games, Rubik's Cube stuff, and just going out to places and enjoying some leisure, all that. And both of them were very interesting classes. Somebody that enjoys spending some downtime outside of schoolwork, as well as all my work in general as well, with all my video game consoles, I really enjoy getting to learn more about some of the other popular leisure stuff out there, because that, along with sports and events, those are some of the things that I really enjoy getting to do outside of school. I really like to take part in more of those things in the near future, and getting to learn all those things in both of those classes, and just learning more about how some people spend their downtime and why sports and leisure are so popular in the world today. I really enjoyed getting to be a part of that class. That was another good one that I got to be a part of. My 3rd favorite class is Intro to Psychology. Now, a lot of that was because of the professor that I took there. I'll tell you more about her in just a little bit. bit, but that was a very interesting class that I took there at Union County College. There I learned a little bit more about what happens psychologically with everything that we go through in our lives, how we feel every single day, everything that goes on intellectually and mentally, how we compress everything that goes on in our lives every day. And a lot of that has to do with all the things that are happening in the world, especially with all the chaotic things that happen and how it can affect us psychologically as well. The way that I was taught in that class, that was why I really enjoyed taking that class, because there were a lot of fun activities that we got to do, and we got a lot of fun things that we got to do in general. There was a lot of open discussion as well, so I got to talk a little bit about that as well. The class that I took there at UCC, that was a very, very fun one. Again, a lot of that had to do with the professor, and I'll tell you more about her in just a little bit. My second favorite class that I took, this one's important because this was a part of my major that I took, digital video production. This was where I got to take everything that I've already learned about TV and film and put it together in one short semester. There I got to create a lot of very cool projects there. I made a couple of projects, where we were tossing around a ball, or even a couple skits as well. Obviously, it was a lot of chaos that happened in between that because, this was during the middle of the coronavirus pandemic, so we had to spend the second half of the semester at home. So the final two major projects that I had to do, my midterm along with my final, I had to do it by myself at home. The final I actually got to enjoy doing. I got to do a mini documentary about my town, Springfield, New Jersey, do a little bit of 4 or 5 minutes there. It was a pretty good experience that I got to make, but again, I got to put everything that I have already learned in TV and film and just put it in that semester, and it was a fun class, and I really enjoyed getting to apply some of those skills in there that I'm going to use when I find my job in TV and film. Finally, my favorite class that I took altogether was film study. Now, there were 2 film classes that I took at UCC, one in spring and in the fall, both of them in 2018, and both of them were very fun classes and easily my favorites overall. I didn't really have to do anything in those classes. All we did was just sit there and watch popular films, and there were a lot of great films that we watched there, like Casablanca, Scarface, Rear Window, I believe Citizen Kean was also another one of them. We watched a lot of very popular classic and even modern day movies there in general, and we just talked a lot about film. As somebody that wants to be a part of the film industry and watched a lot more films, I was very intrigued by both of those classes. I just got to enjoy, watching some of the most popular films that are out there in the world today. And I also enjoyed getting to do a film project that I actually did for my fall film class that I took at the last semester there at UCC. I actually do have that on YouTube. It's one of my very first videos on there, so if you'd like to check that out. But it was very fun because I got to talk a lot about film, and more importantly, just talk a lot about life and enjoy everything about film in general. And that's why those are my favorite classes overall. All right, moving on to my professors. I really enjoyed every professor that I took there at Union County College and at Kean University. And it's really hard to find, some of my favorites overall because every one of them I really enjoyed getting to be a part of. But if I had to pick my favorite 5, and again, this is me not showing any bias whatsoever, I enjoyed every single one of them I took. These were the 5 that I think that would probably be my favorites. My 5th favorite professor was Bill Kopenschlag. Now, this is a professor that I took at Kean University for a class called Sports Communication. This was maybe more of like a PR class that was offered here at Kean University, and he was more of a PR professor, but I was somebody that enjoyed talking about sports, and he also is a part of the sports industry himself. He loves to talk about sports, and it was a new class, so I got to take part in that class, and I got to talk a little bit about why sports are so popular today. What's the important is when it comes to communications in sports, whether it's through TV and film or public relations and all of that, and we talked a little bit about all the things that were happening in sports and time in general as well. It was a very interesting class, and Kopenschlag, I think, really made it enjoyable. He was somebody that enjoyed sports just like I did, and he was just a very interesting and funny character, and I really enjoyed getting to be in that class with him, and he's one of my favorite professors as well. If I had the opportunity to take another class with him there at Kean, I would, because he was a very cool professor, and I really missed getting to be a part of his class. My 4th favorite professor that I took was Dr. Norma Bowie. Now, she was the professor that I had for Deaf and Perspective during my final semester at Kean University. Boy, she was probably one of the most bubbly professors I have ever had there. She was a very enjoyable person to be with, and she just allowed us to be open, got us to talk more about our experiences with Deaf and Perspective, and just get us to be more communicative with each other. She facilitated a lot of the fun things that were going on in that class. And you know, Dr. Bowie was probably one of the most popular professors there at Kean University, and it's the reason why she is, because you know, of some of the things that I was able to take part of there at Different Perspective. And you know, she was also there for us as well, you know, even for whatever was happening outside class when we were having trouble with anything, you know, she was there for us. You know, she would call us, you know, email us, check on us, making sure that she's okay. You know, these are one of the professors that really cared about what was going on outside of class, and you know, that's something that I appreciate as well, and I really enjoyed getting to be with Dr. Bowie in general. You know, she was a very fun professor that I took during my last semester, and I'm very proud that I got to be with her during my final semester there. Interesting enough, funny story about her, I actually ended up being discovered by her on Twitter. She actually did see some of my videos there on her Twitter account, and now she's actually following me there. So, and there's a good chance that she's probably watching this video right now as we speak. So Dr. Bowie, if you are watching this right now, I just want to let you know, thank you for a very fun class that I took there during the fall semester last year. And hey, if you need me to come around and help you out with filming some of your special events that you're taking part of in the near future, let me know. I'm open. I'm looking forward to getting more videography experience with you. My third favorite professor was Professor Carl Crutita. Now, he was the professor that I took at Union County College, and he was the professor for both of those film classes that I took. I really got to enjoy being with Professor Crutita. He was probably one of the most interesting characters you will ever meet if you ever took a communications class at Union County College. And I say that because this guy was hilarious. He was probably one of the funniest people that I ever got to meet, whether it was for college or high school or any other school that I got to be a part of. You know, this guy tells a lot of very funny stories, you know, of everything that's going on in the world, and you know, sharing his perspective on his life in general, and you know, his experience in the communication field. And he tells a lot of very funny stories as well. So I really got to enjoy hearing some of those. And you know, as somebody that enjoys television and film like I do, you know, we got to talk a lot about TV and film, and you know, that's something that I really got to enjoy doing. And Professor Crutita, he is just probably one of the most interesting characters you will ever meet. If you ever go to Union County College, if you were to take one course with Professor Crutita, which is film study, trust me, you will enjoy being with him. He is probably one of the best people that you will ever meet, and he's one very funny man, and I'm just happy that I got to be a part of his classes. My second favorite professor that I took was at Kean University, Professor Jonathan Giordano. Now, he was the professor that I took when I had leisure and sports event with him, so I had him for both of those courses during the fall 2019 and fall 2020 semesters. If you are not taking Professor Giordano there at Kean University, whether it's through a recreation major or as an elective in general, you are missing out, man. Professor Giordano is one of the men at Kean University. Even if he's an adjunction, man, he was one of the best professors that I think I have ever taken in my life, and he was such an enjoyable person to be around. One of the more interesting things about him is that he is a Disney freak. He loves everything about Disney, and you know, that's something that I really enjoy about him as well. You know, he's not afraid to talk about his openness to how much he enjoys talking about Disney characters and you know, everything about leisure and sports and all that. You know, that's something that I enjoy, because you know, he has experience in the sports and event management field. You know, he works, I believe, as an event and facility manager in Staten Island in New York, and so he was able to share some of that experience with us in both of those courses. And Professor Giordano really played a major role into how I was able to get here. You know, he taught me a lot of things about life, leisure, and you know, event management wise that I really got to enjoy. You know, and in my field in media and film, even though I'm not a recreation major, those are things that I learned in both of those classes that I can take in TV and film as well, because you know, I love sports, and you know, me wanting to get into TV and film, you know, in sports television as well, you know, I can take some of what I learned in both of those courses and apply them to there as well. And Professor Giordano played a very important role in that, and I'm just very thankful that I got to take Professor Giordano. He was probably one of the best professors I ever took. If you're ever going to take one elective there at Kean University, you have to take leisure or recreation with Professor Giordano. He is the man, and I enjoyed being a part of his classes. But if I had to pick my favorite professor, and again, I enjoyed every professor that I had there at Kean University, University and Union County College. I enjoyed every single one of them, and they played a very meaningful part during my time there at college. But if I had to pick my overall favorite one, it had to be Dr. Melinda Norelli from Union County College. Now, she was my professor for Intros to Psychology there during the fall 2017 semester, and also she was an advisor for the Phi Beta Kappa ISI chapter, which I explained a little bit about during my time there at PTK, and as well as some of my other videos as well. So she was one of the advisors there for PTK, and I've had a lot of teachers and professors in my life that I really got to enjoy being with, that really showed care about me and all the other students around. But if there was one that really showed a lot of care about us and really played an inspirational role in all of our lives today, it had to be Dr. Norelli, man. She was somebody that really cared about us. She was always worried about making sure that we were okay, not just about classes, but outside of class, with life in general. She was there to help us whenever we needed help with anything. She was there to make sure that we were preparing for the next steps of our lives, and just talk to us, just have fun in general. And Dr. Norelli was somebody that really prided in getting to be with her students, somebody that really enjoyed just getting to talk to students, a lot, not just about psychology, but also about life in general. She was somebody that you were going to enjoy being with her because she was such a very fun and bubbly personality, and somebody that goes through the same exact things that we all go through every day. Dr. Norelli, she exemplifies a lot of care. She always did her best to make sure that the class was enjoyable, and she was somebody that I really got to be a part of in my life, that I really got to enjoy doing psychology with, as well as PTK. She played an inspirational role as to why I got here today. Dr. Norelli was a fun person. She was the bubbly personality and somebody that really cared about us, and somebody that really played an inspirational role during my time at Union County College and at Kean University, and she is by far my favorite professor during my collegiate career. Now again, I enjoyed every single one of the classes that I took at Union County College and Kean University. Along with all the classes that I took, every single one of them I really got to enjoy being a part of. I learned a lot of new things. I got to meet a lot of cool people and a lot of professors as well. But again, these are just some of my favorites that I had there. So so feel free to go ahead and check out some of those classes and meet some of those professors, because I really enjoyed getting to be a part of those classes, and I just got to enjoy being with those people overall. I really miss college already, especially now since it's been a month past I finished college. So yeah, time really flies fast, doesn't it? Alright, that's gonna do it for another video here. Hope you all enjoyed it. If you'd like to see more of my content, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when my latest video is released. As always, be sure to comment below on future suggestions for all my videos, whether it's vlogs, projects, challenges, or top 5s, top 10s, you name it. Be sure to let me know in the comments and I'll do my best to make them. As always, follow me on my social media. All the links are in the description below. That's gonna do it for this video. Hope you all are having another great day. As always, I hope to see you all again next time in another video. So long, everybody.